How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, of course, a live stream Friday. As we do every Friday, we come together here. We talk about the news, politics, the fall of Western civilization as we know it, and of course, unburden ourselves by what has been a very long week of work and having to deal with the everyday struggles of life. Joining me, as always, is my co-host Liberty Swine. How you doing this week, man? Heard you got some big announcement, or big news at least. Yeah,
Yeah, for me personally, for sure, man. Been a good week, and today's my son's 21st birthday. He became a dad today as well. Hell of a birthday gift. So the boy's officially a grandfather. That's fucking
fuck yeah.
insane. I didn't plan this far, man. Fuck.
Right? You never think you're gonna make it that far, man.
Right.
But yeah, fucking congratulations, man. Fucking
Thanks, dog.
overjoyed with that, man. Nothing better than more people being born. I mean,
Right.
what could be better than that,
Yeah.
But
Hell yeah. Straight Merkins.
right. But yeah, congratulations. What a Christmas gift if anything.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah. But so of course for the news this week, starting out the beginning of this week, the Syrian government collapsed and has been taken over by some pretty much even worse Islamists. But either way, the Assad regime has absolutely collapsed. Assad has fled to Russia, and as of what was it today, today was their first official prayer day since the new government has come in and stepped in. We're going to be talking about that and what the implications could mean, because of course America has to have something to do with everything, right? So we'll talk about that a little bit. Daniel Penny is found not guilty. And the leftist race baiting Marxists, of course, tried to stoke the flames immediately. And everybody's got to get out there this weekend and fucking we gonna take to the streets and blah blah blah. Nothing fucking happened, of course, because your fucking crying wolf is dead. The summer of love is come and gone. That fucking spirit of just destructive force in America has died off. You don't have their fucking hearts and ears no more. So they're not listening to you. But either way, Daniel Penny found not guilty. Of course, great day for justice. Great day for Daniel Penny. Great day for defending the innocent. Of course, this week we also finally found out who the suspect, I guess, not the suspect now, they've officially been charged in the assassination of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. And it turns out to be a guy by the name of Luigi Mangione. I put a little emphasis on there, of course. But yeah, there's a whole, of course, we know everything about this fucking guy immediately. But of course, there's so many different standards when it comes to shooters in America these days, especially when it comes to things that are getting released to the news. Of course, the leftists are treating him as a sort of Robin Hood sort of figure. And of course, new details are emerging every single day. Of course, one of the ones that just came out today is that it turns out he was never actually even insured by United Healthcare. They have zero record of him whatsoever. So yeah, just whole bunch of fishy stuff in there. People, we have nothing but questions. All right. So we're gonna be talking about that. Joe Biden has pardoned 1,539 people. Well, he commuted 1,500 sentences and pardoned 39 people in what is the largest sweeping, clemency from a president in since Obama, right? I think Obama was the last record holder.
I'm not positive. I mean, I think the old Biddens may have surpassed.
I know that
I'm not positive.
that's what I mean. Fucking yeah, for a single day of commuted sentences and basically getting rid of fucking letting people off. He's done the most in a single day.
Yeah.
Right. We'll talk about that because, of course, it happens to come a convenient 11 days after he pardoned his son for anything and everything that he might have done for the past 11 years. So maybe he's just trying to spread the joy a little bit, or just make himself not look like such a you know freaking corrupt asshole. Taylor Lorenz has officially lost her mind. not officially, not in like a clinical sense or anything like that, but the bitch is absolutely psycho and fucking cheering on and going on national news and talking about how she felt a feeling of joy with the United Healthcare CEO being, of course, murdered in the streets of New York. And she has essentially, I guess, not even essentially, pretty much outright advocated for more of this. We're going to talk about that. Of course, we can tie that in with the United Healthcare CEO thing because it's, of course, the big news this week. And we also have drones over Jersey. We're going to talk about that because there's, again, so many questions, We just don't ever get enough answers, or if we do get answers, we get a whole bunch of non-answers. And of course, what we're going to be starting out with today, Donald J. Trump has been named Times Person of the Year because, of course, they don't use Man of the Year no more because that would be absolutely sexist. So he's Person of the Year. All right. So yeah, and what's your thoughts on all Person of the Year while I pull up this video over here?
Well, dude obviously deserves it, man. The dude just overtook, the giants of the elite once again. Proven that the people's voices are stronger than they're given credit, I guess. Right? um, of course, the leftists are using this as well, they also chose Hitler's. But of course, during the running, when it was mentioned that, Camel was one of the names being floated, it was all for it. She deserves it. She's a person's great fucking campaign. But once it's Trump, it's meaningless and, it's complete
Right.
hell.
Of course,
So,
last year they also had Zelensky. So I mean, if they want to play that whole game,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, if I can, they're just their lack of self awareness. And I don't think it's even a lack of self awareness. I think it's the fact that they know that their viewers or the people that support them are absolutely non self aware. So they could just say whatever the fuck they want. Nobody's going to look into it except for the fascists and the Nazis, right? So it doesn't matter. Their opinions don't matter. But yeah, I think that's about the gist of the leftist mind frame when it comes to propaganda of their own voting base.
Yeah, and their ability to fucking flip flop the voter base is astounding, man. Like, the meme even now at this point doesn't do it justice with the chip. Interchanging. I mean, it's even
Right.
faster than that. It's as fast as the light switch. They
Right.
flip on their opinions and views. It's fucking
Yep.
insane.
Yeah. Yep. Moving at the speed of digital lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as a new Reddit post goes up, they're on that shit right away. So they get new talking points fresh off the press, guys. But
Yeah, Politico, MSNBC, roll it out in the morning, and then if it sticks, they run with it.
right. What was it that somebody was saying? I think it was one of the James O'Keefe undercover things where they said basically that the Kamala campaign basically sends them their talking points for the day every single morning. Or at least
Yeah.
during that time period when they were trying to get Kamala elected. So
Yeah, and it wasn't just, even the camel. I mean, before that, even,
yeah,
the Biden regime. I mean, it's
yep.
been a structural thing for, quite a minute now.
Oh, Smith Mumford modernization.
Right.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and check out this video. I like this one. This is I couldn't find the clip by itself without the TikTok chick talking, but either way, it's a good response by Donald Trump. Lets you know why he's Person of the Year.
The man of the year tells us who he thinks is the most famous person in the world. Wait till the end.
You still need help from the boss. We need help from the boss. That's what happened. We need help. Right? Yeah, we need help. It's all right to say it. Now, they'll criticize me for that. How dare he say that? How dare he say that? No, I'll say it. I'll say it. Somebody said to me the other day, "You're the most famous person in the world by far." I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." They said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." They said, "Who's more famous?" I said, "Jesus Christ." I'm not taking any chances. I'm not going to have an argument. Hey, I'm not having any arguments. Jesus Christ.
Yep, and that's why Donald Trump is Person of the Year. Uh, Yeah, of course, there's I don't think that video was actually from, him talking about the person of the year thing. 'Cause of course that was I think the speech he gave was at the New York Stock Exchange,
Yeah.
correct? He rang
Yeah.
the opening bell. But yeah, so that was from a different one, but nonetheless, yeah, you can't deny the fact that Donald Trump has some sort of cosmic force that seems to be, as the Reddit people, he has a fucking cosmic force that's blocking all of our spells, bro.
Right.
Right, that force is called the big one, Jesus Christ.
He's
But
immunes us to witchcraft.
right. All of my icebox spells haven't been working, you guys. Can't believe this. But yeah, fucking Donald Trump won Man of the Year. You haven't seen too many of the lefties melting down yet. Of course, the big one that you've been seeing going around, just because, of course, he's going to talk about everything right away. And of course, it's the one that I can't happen to scroll across at the moment.
Yeah,
But it's going
you
to
got
be
to mention, like you said, he gave that speech there at the New York Stock Exchange. That's the first time a president, has rang the opening bell in 40 some years. That's pretty cool
really.
too, man. Last one was Reagan. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Donald Trump's he's like we said, it's morning in America again. At least that's the way it seems thus far. It again, it's got that eerie feeling that like, oh, something bad could happen at any moment. But at least thus far, from what I've seen, dude, it's everything's. The only people that I say are going to be going off the deep end are the people that are already off the deep end. Basically everybody that's kind of on the fence at this point. All the people that were, I don't know. I mean, I've heard quite a lot about he's gonna, lock people up and this and that. And all those people are pretty much alleviated at this point. It's like, oh fuck, he wants to end daylight savings time. Like, oh, okay, well, day one, we're ending daylight savings time. It's stupid. Nobody sets their clocks. I don't know why they do it. But of course, that doesn't affect us here in Arizona because we never recognized daylight saving time in the first place. So,
Right.
But yeah. So of course, Don Lemon. Let's go ahead and
Now, if they
check out his spectacular meltdown. It's a 2-minute video. We might not go through the whole fucking thing. It's Don Lemon. So you're not going to be missing much if we skip some.
wanted to make someone person of the year, they would have made someone who, and my God, I'm sure he loves this, right? If they wanted to make someone person of the year, I don't know, they could have done it with any person.
Right? Why are you drawing a blank, buddy? Why can't you think of anybody? Kamala Harris, you're just fucking cheering her on last week, dude. You're fucking practically beating fucking face with dicks for Kamala Harris last week. She doesn't deserve person of the year. It should be someone that's good for democracy. That's what I
Right.
think. Freaking commies.
People, they could have done it to someone who actually stood for democracy, who stands for democracy in the country. Now, you think about what encompasses person of the year. Just because you are elected president of the United States does not mean that you should be person of the year. What Time Magazine, what are you doing? Let me ask you, Time Magazine. What do you say to the women who, I guess, still read Time Magazine? Or the women who don't they do like a whole Time 100 thing or something, which, what about the women who are on that list? What about that? I'm sure some of them will had dealt with issues that women have to deal with, like discrimination in the workplace, SA, all kinds of things. You have someone on the cover of your magazine who is an adjudicated assaulter. You have someone who inspired an insurrection. You have someone who, without a doubt, the evidence is there, tried to overturn a free and fair election.
Which there's a process for doing that, so it doesn't matter. The whole thing is the process was not respected, not by Donald Trump, but by the people, the elected officials that are so-called, the so-called electors. But either way, I like how he likes to point out the whole, like, oh, well, couldn't it be someone that stands for democracy? Which, as I just pointed out a few minutes ago, last year was fucking Zelensky, the guy who suspended elections in his country so that way he could remain in power until he fucking gets assassinated by the Russians. Yeah, he stands for democracy. They're really fighting for democracy over there in Ukraine. Like,
And recently suspended elections again. You know what I'm saying? And then democracy to these people means bureaucracy. It
yeah,
means DEI and fucking deep weaved webs of layers of fucking red tape. That makes everything impossible because it placates their sensibilities. This guy's a fucking kook, and completely irrelevant. Hence the reason that he's live streaming on fucking TikTok. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. And I actually just remembered the name of the guy that we were talking about earlier, Van Jones. Van Jones. He has another clip out there, which basically is a spell on the end of democracy. I just wanted to get that out there because it's on the tip of my tongue for the last like 30 minutes. Now I just remembered. But but yeah, fucking Donald Trump winning Time Magazine's Man of the Year. I mean, the issue that I don't think it's actually been released yet, right? Because there's a few photos going around
Right.
on the old X of what it might be, but dude, they got to use the fight picture. Like, how much more of a fucking iconic photo could you have for Times Magazine's fucking Person of the Year than the fucking Donald Trump fight photo? It's probably one of the most iconic photographs in American history at this point.
We'll see if they're willing to go that far, though, man. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like, like the lemon here is pointing out. I mean, I'm sure they're turning off a lot of their fucking, their base.
right.
Because I mean, it's leftists that primarily, subscribe to mainstream shit like that.
And as we see, the mainstream they barely even acknowledge that Donald Trump had assassination attempts on his life. They don't even acknowledge the fact that he was shot by a psychopathic fucking leftist. They don't they try to pretend that none of this ever actually took place. So they try to play it off like fucking you remember how the headlines were? Oh, he fell. Fucking
Yeah.
there was a loud popping noise and they had to get him off the stage. Like, like these people are fucking ridiculous. I mean, the mainstream hasn't even really acknowledged that any of that even happened. So why the fuck would Time Magazine put that photo on the cover of their magazine?
Exactly. That's what I'm
Right?
saying, man.
Yeah. But nonetheless, Donald Trump's made it too big to rig. Even the fucking public opinion is too big to fucking rig. Even Time Magazine couldn't, I guess, fucking finagle not giving Donald Trump Person of the Year again.
Instead
But
of posting the 2020 shadow campaign, right?
yep,
Because remember that was their fucking article, man.
yeah. Yeah, fucking the shadow campaign to fucking to beat down. I forget the exact wording, but yep, the shadow campaign. Even that fucking failed, man. And it's yeah, like we say, you're seeing a lot of these people really trying to fucking save their own skins at this point.
And they're still trying to fuck with the election as well. I mean, you got California still counting. Chicago just recently came out like, oh, we found another 21,000 votes, and 89% of them were for camel toes. You know what I mean? Like they're still trying. They're legitimately at this point fucking stealing, and people are
Right.
just letting it ride. They've just recently stole a seat in California.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking California is one of those ones. It's like, and like how ingrained is the fraud over there? How ingrained is the corruption? Like did the people of California even stand a chance? Like even if they were to actually get everybody to fucking decide to have a fucking a Rudy Giuliani moment and fucking elect somebody that's actually not a commie or someone that's actually not just going to let crime run rampant. I don't even think that'd be possible. I think if I can either way, the Democrats always going to win in a landslide. And there's just no escaping that because it's made to be that way.
And the majority that have, woken up to those facts have left. They've come
Right.
here, they went to Texas to fucking, turn our states and cities blue and purple and shit,
Yeah.
That's the worst part. Is like we constantly say about lack of self-awareness
in
and
the Philly
awareness in
suburbs. And I'm
general,
telling you,
and that's proof pudding right there, right? I mean, they leave these places for a reason, but then immediately come here and put a fucking camel wall sign in their front yard.
Right. Yep. But at least the good thing that we do see coming down the horizon is the Utes, man. The fucking Utes are coming through, man. As you'll see from this clip from Van Jones. I hope I picked up the right one. I don't know. I was just kind of eyeballing. I didn't pre-listen to them. As you guys know, we kind of do the show on the fly. But let's hope this is it. Hopefully, it's the one where he's talking about he's talking to his nephew or something like that. I don't fucking know, but he basically asked him, "Oh, who's the most influential people?" And he doesn't say Oprah fucking Winfrey or Barack Obama or J fucking pedophile Z. That's for sure.
We are way off. The entire political class is way off. First of all, digital is a new door knocking. You got to understand that. We were laughing our butts off at Donald Trump for suspending his door knocking campaign and letting Charlie Kirk and Elon do a bunch of stuff online. We said, these guys are idiots. These guys are stupid. Then you start knocking on these doors. You know what people come to the door with? Their phone in their hand. They're in a 24-hour digital surround sound that has nothing to do with CNN, has nothing to do with any stuff that we do. I asked my son, I got a teenage son, I asked him, who are the most influential people in the world today? I'm thinking to myself, he's going to say Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z. He says, Kai Cent, Aiden Ross, Jinxie, and Sketch. I don't know who he's talking about. I said, what platforms are you on? He goes, I'm on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. I said, that sounds like you need to go to the hospital. What are these platforms? I'm telling you guys, the mainstream has become fringe, and the fringe has become mainstream. There are platforms, there are people out there that are getting 14 million streams, and we're on cable news getting 1 or 2 million. And so there is a whole world out there. Kellyanne Conway, I hate to agree with her, but I do a lot of times. Donald Trump understood that, and we didn't. And it's not just Democrats that don't. The entire political class is way off, way off, way off.
See, so I think what happened right there was a slight moment of clarity for old Van Jonesy, where he basically said that, like, well, we didn't even see this coming. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Rumble, Twitch. Like, it sounds like he has a disease or something. Like, you're like, this has been a thing for some time, ever since the big tech platforms, which you were trying to control in order to censor us, because you figured that was the way to win public sentiment, was to control what the narrative is. Yeah, we moved on to other platforms, and apparently so have the younger generations as well too. So yeah, I think he was just having a quick moment of clarity, but the fact is that he's the left-wing establishment in general, all these social elites, all these social political elites, these people to get tens of thousands of fucking dollars just to have a 2-minute fucking clip where they speak at a fucking book deal summit. All right, these political social elites, they're completely oblivious to the fact that yes, they have been replaced. Yes, the people see what you've been up to the entire time. They see the propaganda, they see the constant lying, and the complete discreditation of the establishment talking heads, and so basically the whole thing was they didn't have control. That's what Donald Trump knew. That Donald Trump knew that they didn't have control over the hearts and minds. They just had control over some of these big tech platforms in order to get them to take down people that they didn't like, the people that they said were spreading dis and misinformation. And what did the people do? The people went and sought them out anyway. And that's what they didn't get. And of course, as we talk about all the time, Elon Musk taking over Twitter and turning it into X was a major factor in basically the public being able to get this information, the stuff that they've been completely oblivious to this whole time.
Agreed, man. I think it's an epiphany that's obviously a day too late, and it's pretty fucking hilarious when you consider the fact that the candidate that was considered the first inner zones fucking campaign was actually Hussein Obama's, man, which this guy was a part of. So obviously not reading the room, and then on top of that, it's not just Trump's ability or the people he was on. Don't get me wrong, like the likes of like Joe Rogan obviously helped, right, in that final hour there. But it's the Don himself. It's what he brings. It's the realism, the fact that he can sit and speak for 3 hours off the cuff when these other people need tightly controlled environments to function.
Right, he wakes up and pisses excellence.
I mean that's the difference, And and as far as Elon, I mean, obviously the X thing, paid off in dividends for the simple fact that it was like the public square already. You had, government officials and official state sites and all these other ones that that's where they shared, that was their medium for sharing information to their constituents and whatnot. So, that's where that key factor was in, and where they lost the real control. And I think a big part of it is not necessarily even like again characters or streaming platforms. It's just the shift away from like cable TV, shit like that, away from the family dynamic of sitting down and watching shows, and people more dependent on phones. That technology's gotten to the point where you can walk around and stream, right? So just the sheer availability made those avenues more attractive. But like I was just saying earlier, these big platforms like large conglomerates and shit that have controlled the media for so long, they're not just going to take this shit. They're going to buy in, and you're going to
Yep.
see them taking over the precedence on these fucking other platforms like YouTube and whatnot. Luckily, you have like Rumble, BitChute, other places where you can take your content and still not be censored or pushed to the background, but it doesn't have the same pull or appeal as like YouTube, which is always going to be a censorious fucking leviathan, dude.
Right. The one thing I can't stand about Rumble, I mean, there's a few things I don't like about it, but the one thing that I can't stand is their ads. It's just the fact that like I don't whatever fucking been skipping through ads for years now. Not a big deal. It's the fact that their ads appear to be like almost like kind of like an attack on Rumble itself, right? If you ever notice the ads, they're the stupidest fucking things you've ever seen in your life, or they're fucking weird, or they're like weird skincare things, or like it's a fucking weird old dude fucking putting on long nylon stockings and like, do you have diabetes and have to wear compression socks? It's like whatever, dude. Like nobody wants to see a fucking weird old man like with his legs up, just like rolling on a sock. Like dude, nobody wants to see that shit, And I think that's on purpose, either that or the fucking like oh, check out this torch lighter. The government wants to ban these torch lighters, and we have them just. Amazon hates when you buy these, right? So if
Right.
you want to fight the big box companies, Amazon and the government, they hate when you get one of these, and you could only get them right here now. Look at this. Military grade, okay? Like it's like I'm not even kidding. Like it's that fucking stupid, dude. Like it's so ridiculous. Like they'll get like those fucking cheap torch lighters that you get off of fucking the smoke shop for fucking $10 and shit, and they're like, your government wants to ban this military grade torch lighter, and they'll like burn through a fucking soda can, dude. It's the stupidest fucking shit you've ever seen. And I think that those are fucking like targeted ads in order to kind of repel people from the website,
I mean, yeah, I can see what you're saying to an extent, but at the same time, they're just like fucking dollars are dollars, man.
Yeah,
If you want to pay for it, fucking
that's the
we'll
way I see
advertise
it.
your shit. Right. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's the fucking bottom line. That's why you run a company, is to make a profit, right? But to go back to the Van Jones shit real quick, I have no fucking idea who those people are either, dude.
Yeah,
So,
I don't either.
He's not alone. I mean, obviously I'm familiar with all the platforms he mentioned, but those particular streamers, no fucking idea, dude.
Right. Yeah, it just lets you know, man. The fucking the field's saturated, And we have all 5 of you. Sometimes we get up to like 16 viewers a night, fucking. So I mean, we're in the field, right? But yeah, if I could, I mean, like we said, this is the latest thing, This is like the fucking the modern day rock stars in a fucking a nation on the verge of fucking collapse. The people aren't giving a shit about fucking movie stars and fucking musicians and shit like that anymore. Now it's about fucking who's gonna tell me what the fuck is happening right now, who's gonna tell me why I can't afford fucking eggs or gas, or why the fuck I can't afford to live anymore, why is my fucking rent going up but my paychecks are going down. Like, who can make sense of all of this? That's what people are looking for right now, and it's not going to be from the mainstream media. It's not going to be from the nightly fucking news with whatever fucking mainstream media fucking talking head. It's going to be they're looking for these sources that are being labeled as like taboo or fucking because that's the way that humans have always been. If you label something taboo, if you label something bad or disinformation or it's dangerous to the public, we got to go check it out.
Right. Yeah. The Streisand effect, right?
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Right.
But I mean, like I've spoke on several times on here. I mean, there's other platforms as well, that are self-funded and completely uncensored, don't bow, and they just don't have the same appeal because they like again they weren't ready-made platforms. And then even like Rumble, I mean, you see a lot of creators on there, like you were just saying, completely saturated. But it's only the larger ones, Bongino, Crowder, shit like that, they get views. I mean, even Tim has said there's no way in fuck we could, just stream on Rumble and shit and still
Right.
keep this company going. I mean,
Yeah.
so and the YouTube's always going to be an issue. We've again we spoke on that too. If you don't have a ready audience to bring with you, you're going to have a hard time. And YouTube, it's like like a Facebook situation. Like even if you don't use it, you have it. You know what I mean? Like it's like everybody has a YouTube. So it's like last week when you were talking about starting a new platform, like when Elon bought X, you were like, if he would have started a new platform, it wouldn't have been the same.
Right.
He'd still be building. I mean, it's the same, with alternatives
Yeah.
to anything else. I mean, it's like Rumble's like years away from even remotely competing.
Right. But at the same time, just the whole fact of Rumble just being even mentioned, the fact that Rumble's even a competitor at all, to YouTube, the fact that, Rumble, even if it's just a small, minute amount, takes away from Google's fucking profits. It makes a small difference, at least, at least it gives that sort of free market competition, where the fact that YouTube cannot be the censorious fucking shithole that it has been for the past decade or so, simply because of the fact that, okay, well, there's an alternative, like, fuck it, we'd rather stay here just because it's easier. Everybody's fucking stuff's already here, connected to your Google account, what the fuck ever, and it's just the platform people have been using for a long fucking time now. So, I mean, of course, people would want to stay, but at the same time, if it becomes something so unwatchable, if it's just fucking weird algorithms feeding you weird shit all the time, and everything's fucking censored, everything that you want to watch has been banned from there, like they're going to see even bigger dips in their profits. And of course, with profits being their number one priority, that's it's going to kind of force them to at least be a little bit more content neutral when it comes to the heavy-handed censorship.
Like I said, I think it's going to get worse, man. I think
Yeah.
as like the mainstream platforms purchase those ad spaces and whatnot, they're going to want ad-friendly content, and they're going to offer them fucking huge dollars, and they're going to take it. And I think you'll see a more sanitized YouTube than before, and within the next 2 years, it's going to be fucking CNN tube.
Right. Well, they also do have a new piece of legislation going through Congress right now. It's called, what is it, like the Child Online Safety Act or something like that. And it's basically, it's going to allow the government to dictate what sort of notifications, what sort of clickbaits, these social medias and these video sharing platforms and stuff like that are going to be allowed to put out within their algorithms, because of the fact that that it can cause psychological damage to children's.
I think that's terrible too. I mean, we already know that that's always the excuse.
Right.
The chillins. We
We
got
have
to
to
protect the
protect the
chillins.
children.
Yep, and it's just a way to usurp power and insulate their fucking messaging.
Right. Especially when one of the first, articles that you click on it is breaking the misinformation about the bipartisan fucking Child Online Protection Act. It's like fucking uh like asking questions like, will this require people to have a digital ID? It's like, no, definitely not. Like, it's not gonna be anything like that. It's the websites have an obligation that if they because they collect data from you, and if they can tell that you're a person under the age of 18, then they have an obligation to hide certain stuff from the algorithm from you.
Right.
So it's like, wait, so your solution to them showing weird stuff to kids is to collect more of our data and fucking use that into their algorithms. Like, wait a minute. And do they have to report it back to you? Because I mean, where's the oversight going to be from, right? How do you know that they're actually doing this shit? So I mean, of course, there's so many things that can go wrong with stuff like that. But of
The
course,
state putting their hands in shit. Period. You know what I mean? I think that they need to take off the fucking training wheels. I mean,
yep,
YouTube's a private fucking company, and like Facebook and whatnot, they enjoy the fact that they're supposed to be a neutral platform, but acting as publishers. I think that they should feel the brunt of what law is supposed to be, rather than their loose interpretations.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, we'll see how it all goes. But I mean, at least in terms of these other platforms and stuff starting to take hold. It seems like I say, it's at least giving them a run for their money, to where they're going to have to come up with some sort of different idea.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? I mean, we just had Congress saying that they were considering making Google sell off, what was it, Chrome, right? That they can't have a monopoly, yada yada. But yet you haven't heard anything from it. I think that something like a Leviathan, like Google, ABC has, the grease for the wheels, and as long as they play ball and are willing to, propagate the messaging, I think that they'll be immune. Money talks, and they want their bullshit to walk, dude. As in the state, you know what I mean? And they, like you said, they lost X, so they need that next apparatus. And YouTube's perfect.
But they already really kind of have YouTube. I mean, like, most of them they already have in their pockets. The only stuff that they really have to worry about is these new up and comers, these new people that are trying to be like Elon. These people that are trying to be a man of the populace. Give the
Yeah, well, I
people
mean,
what they want.
but as far as like the juices tubes is concerned, what they're worried about, like I said, right now is alternate messaging. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's the thing. Like Van Jones was concentrating on. I mean, they may label miss and dis or whatever, but the fact is that they lost control over the messaging, and that's what they're looking for. And that's what he's saying. We're behind on. They're watching these alternative fucking platforms. It's not even as much an epiphany as it is like, here's a new fucking war strategy. These are where we need to infiltrate. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, another thing that's not necessarily helping their case is the fact that they're all fucking insane. Like the fact that they're all like legit insane. So of course, Taylor Lorenz, that's one of the biggest ones that comes to mind right now. She's gone completely off the deep end, and the only thing is she's just being vocal about what the left is. Really, I don't think she's gone off the deep end. I think she's just being honest. Um, in terms of the left, I mean, the rest of them they just won't admit it, but they all think the exact same shit that Taylor Lorenz is saying.
Communist froth at the mouth for fucking violence, for sure. Regardless of rhetoric, you see actions speak way louder. And you were mentioning the summer of love, shit like that. I mean, all the
Yeah, this is
violence you've seen over these years have been through, from the left. And this
Yeah,
chick is a complete fucking ghoul, straight up ghoul, man.
right. And at the same
Because
time, I mean, go ahead.
even if she's not, sincere in what she's saying, she's saying, shit that could persuade the mentally ill towards these fucking thought processes for clicks. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because that could be a big part of it too. She's becoming irrelevant, and she realizes the more radical shit I say, the more attention I get, clicks I get. You know what I mean? Shit like that. So it could be that too, or it could be the two coupled. You know what I mean? But either way, she's a fucking ghoul.
Right. And just like I was saying earlier, I mean, it's that thing that you're not supposed to see, or like, oh no, he wasn't supposed to say that. Everybody's got to go see that. Everybody's got to go watch that video
Right.
clip. Which speaking of which, we'll do right now. But yeah, I mean, it's really just the like you said, the Streisand effect. Don't look over here, everybody. Everybody's instantly gonna fucking rubberneck. And that's I think they figured that out. The only thing is theirs is just dark. These guys are just our jokes are fucking happy, uplifting humor. These guys are just mean. These guys just want to see people die. Like, we make jokes about fucking the welfare fund. It's fucking broken up more black homes than fucking the Klan or whatever. Shit like that. Like these people are talking about actually it overjoyed me to see fucking this guy get shot.
Vile.
this is still the remnants of the incredibly bratty Occupy Wall Street movement that's morphed into 100 other movements by now. all equally as disgusting. But to celebrate the murder of a husband and a father simply because you disagree with his position at a company, or you disagree with the company, or you disagree with the system of healthcare that we have in the US is quite frankly sick, twisted, and disgusting. Why you'd celebrate anybody's murder, especially just an innocent man who you happen to disagree with, is really shocking to me. But it also just goes to show that the left and many on the left, when they leave behind two young boys, especially during the holiday season, the same day that millions of New Yorkers are celebrating a tree lighting. I mean, that's just too far for me, a bridge too far. The loving and tolerant left is at it again, Piers.
Yeah, Taylor, I don't mean to be rude, but why the fuck are you laughing all the time? I don't get it. Sorry,
I'm
apologies for my
laughing because
language, but honestly, I find it unbelievable. What are you laughing at?
I am laughing at Tommy's insane mischaracterization of why people are angry. It has nothing to do with Occupy Wall Street. This is a feeling that people feel across the left and the right. You mentioned Ben Shapiro earlier in his video about the healthcare exec. I encourage people to check the comment section on that video, okay? 100% of America is united on this, or rather the majority of America is united on this. We do not think that this healthcare system that is murdering, again, thousands of innocent Americans, who, by the way, Tommy, also have families, also have children. These people are being killed by our barbaric and evil for-profit healthcare system. And I agree, we should not necessarily go around shooting people in the street. And while I am joyful that this issue has been brought to attention,
did you hear that, Piers? Not necessarily.
It's just unbelievable.
They shouldn't be shot in the streets. They shouldn't be shot in the streets because, again, it doesn't solve the systemic problem. You could United Healthcare will just appoint a new ghoulish CEO. The point is that we need to fix these systems so that, again, people like Brian or whoever's in charge of these companies stops murdering tens of thousands of innocent Americans.
Meet your psycho, you bitch.
All right, that wasn't the good one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
From
no.
that particular show. But, again, complete ghoul. And, this dude, how she's like, he murdered, this guy was a CEO. He's not making decisions on a case-to-case basis. I mean, and beyond that, it's a fucking company. You start a company, for profit, to make money, not to do things for free. And, so it's not your personal fucking welfare or purse or apparatus. You know what I mean? They got a fiduciary responsibility. You know what I mean? And beyond that, the vast majority of health issues in this country right now are due to lifestyle choices. You know what I mean? And I'm surely not trying to, I'm better. I mean, fuck, I'll probably die, for the exact same fucking reasons. You know what I'm saying? But the point is you fuck yourself up and then expect other people to foot the bill or what have you. And then on top of that, one of the leading causes of death in this country is medical malpractice. So, I mean, should doctors be murdered out as well? I mean, what the fuck, right? I mean, where does it end at that point? And right there, she says, well, he shouldn't be shot. But the other clip that was going pretty viral, I mean, she's laughing about it, and like you said, she says, I felt a sense of joy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just while not saying outright go do it. I mean, she's insinuating it's a fucking damn good thing, and she feels
I do
great
believe
about
in
it.
the sanctity of life, and I think that's.
I think this is the correct one. Yeah. All right. I see. So.
I do believe in the sanctity of life, and I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy. Unfortunately, because it feels like.
Serious?
I mean.
Joy at a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy. Because again,
we're watching the footage. How can this make you joyful? This guy's a husband, he's a father, and he's being gunned down in the middle of Manhattan. Why does that make you joyful?
Of Americans that being murdered. So are the tens of thousands of Americans, innocent Americans, who died because greedy health insurance executives like this one push policies of denying care to the most vulnerable people. And the many millions of Americans that have watched people that I care about suffer and in some cases die because of lack of health care.
So should they all be killed then? Should they all be killed, these healthcare executives? Would that make you even more joyful?
No, that would not.
But why not?
And,
why are you laughing?
I think because it wouldn't fix the
You seem to find the whole thing hilarious.
I find your question funny.
A bloke's been murdered in the street. I don't find it funny at all.
I don't find it funny that tens of thousands of Americans die every year and because they are denied life-saving healthcare from people like the CEO. Now, I want to fix the system. You're right. We shouldn't be going around shooting each other with vigilante justice. No. I think that it is a good thing that this murder has led to America, or really the media elites and politicians in this country paying attention to this issue for the first time. You mentioned you couldn't understand why somebody would feel this reaction when they watched a CEO die. It's because you have not dealt, it sounds like, with the American healthcare system in the way that millions of other Americans have.
I've dealt with the healthcare system in various ways in America. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but the idea that I would view it as something...
Have you been denied life-saving treatment?
The idea that I would view it as something joyful, that a man has been, who's just a healthcare executive, has been executed in the street, I find completely bizarre.
Yeah, that was the right one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't get more ghoulish than that, right? And don't get me wrong, dude. I'm not sucking from the corporate teat here, right? I think insurance is a scam. It's all fucked up. You pay for a lot of services that you probably won't use or don't get. And they do deny people that need shit, right? But for the most part, I mean, insurance is, I'm sure, saved many more lives than it's taken, right? I mean, and nothing actually took it. What took it was whatever ails you. It's not, the insurance isn't killing people. The cancer's killing you, whatever the case. And again, it's a for-profit situation. And, we're talking about the fucking world's largest insurance company, but their profit margins like what, 4 or 5%.
I think it's like 3%, something like that.
And I mean that, to think, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to think in reality terms instead of feelings and shit. And it sucks, it's part of life. I mean, everyone's going to fucking die. And, a company doesn't have a responsibility to break itself for someone that, is demanding care that's not going to help. I mean, just recently, right, we know I lost my pops. And, it comes to a certain point when they're like, there's nothing we could do. I mean, we could try all these crazy surgeries and procedures, but, you're too far gone. Like, you know what I mean? And so, of course, insurance is going to be like, "What the fuck are we going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars right now? The doctor's telling us he's going to live for 6 weeks."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. It's it's just those hard cost assessments that they got to deal with. Of course, I mean, it could be worse. It could be fucking Canada where they just like, oh fuck, dude, this guy's going to take treatments.
Right. Have you thought about
suicide?
Sizes?
Right. It's assisted, man. It's not the same thing. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's exactly what Dr. Kevorkian fucking was put away for, right?
Right. Right. And now it's become fucking state law.
Now it's a party.
Now it's the third leading cause of death in Canada.
Right.
That's fucking insane. Absolutely insane. But let's also keep in mind that this is the same Taylor Lorenz who cried about how she was practically murdered because of the fact that she got doxxed right after she just randomly fucking showed up at, the parents' house of Libs of TikTok? Was it Shia Ratchick or something like that?
Yep.
I think, showed up at her parents' house just randomly with fucking news cameras and shit. And then apparently she got doxxed right afterward. And then she went ahead and gave this tearful interview.
I've had to remove every single social tie. You feel like any little piece of information that gets out on you will be used by the worst people on the internet to destroy your life. And it's so isolating.
And terrifying.
It's horrifying.
It's horrifying.
I've had to remove every...
Right. Yeah, the same.
The clown shit's hilarious, but they should have gave her fucking scales instead, man.
Right.
Damn it, Maze.
Right. Damn you. But yeah, fucking so yeah, of course, this was Taylor Lorenz, right? The same person that we just saw fucking 5 minutes ago talking about how like, oh yeah, I felt joy when someone fucking went and found this guy's his meeting times and they fucking stalked him and followed him and murdered him. I felt joy. Meanwhile, just a few fucking months ago, I don't remember. This might have been like a year or two ago or something like that. It was like, I don't know, it was a little while ago. But either way, fucking she got doxxed and fucking all of a sudden like I had to change everything. Like it's just the hypocrisy it's absolutely ridiculous, And that's the fucking commie calling card right there. Like you said, they stoke chaos, they fucking love violence, But then whenever anything happens to them, oh, I'm such a victim. Like, I can't believe, like, why did this happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? Like, it's fucking, these people are nuts, people. These people are
Yeah,
nuts.
she's known for doxing people. Then on top of that, she's posting like, right around the time of this fucking Piers Morgan episode, she posted a picture of the CEO of Blue Cross on Blue Sky. You know what I mean? Trying to
Right.
stoke the same shit for him.
Yep.
And I mean, those chicks just, a complete fucking piece. Like, we need a Pinochet fucking helicopter service in this country, ASAP.
Right. And now, actually, I remember that's what it was. She actually, it wasn't just showed up at her fucking parents' house. She actually doxed fucking Chaya Radchick, fucking the Libs of TikTok person, in an article that she had a link that went to her real estate business, and her real estate business just happened to have her home address because it was out of her home address. So yeah, that was the whole thing. Is she doxed the Libs of TikTok person, and then she got doxed right after by some internet warriors, and yeah, this was the fucking interview that she gave, and then it's victim, victim, victim until the shoe's on the other foot. Then all of a sudden, it's yay! This is great. That's why these people are the same people that will sit there and argue for fucking, like, we need to get rid of the First Amendment. Like, the First Amendment wasn't meant to cover this, this, and this. But then they'll still say that, oh, the First Amendment covers my ability to fucking strut naked down the street in front of a fucking children's playground on fucking in the middle of June because that's my free expression. Like, these people are absolute hypocrites in every single sense of the word.
Posting up statues of Baphomet at your city courthouse is freedom of speech, but letting your kid pray for during his lunch hour, that's definitely a step too far.
Separation of churches and states. Like,
Right.
that was a suggestion, motherfucker.
I was just saying you can't be persecuted by the state for your religion. You know what I
Right.
mean? That had nothing to do with that. All the original basis of this country is the 10 Commandments and Christianity. Like,
Yep. And it's really more to protect the other way around. It's really to protect the church from the state rather than the state from the church. So, there's that whole fucking thing to their argument. But either way, Taylor Lorenz, the proof is in the pudding. The fucking left her absolute psychopath. And of course, like I said earlier, she's just the fucking only person that's broken enough to actually fucking say all this shit. Like, she's the person that's, I don't know what it is with this lady. Like, if she's shameless enough, because like I said, like, if it comes down to something about her, like, she's over there in tears and but then when it comes to someone actually pointing out like how much of a horrible person she is, she's just like just laughs it off. Like, she needs some fucking mood stabilizers or something.
right. Or she's taken too many, you know what I'm saying? And she's just mentally fucked up for good. I mean, I don't know. Sick fuck.
It's the psychologist. It's life-saving medical stuff,
Right.
You can't deny her fucking medicine.
Psychotropics that were meant to be a temporary fucking stopgap while, the doctor figured out your situation has become a lifestyle. You know what I mean?
How about we just go back to the universal Thorazine in a padded room? Worked out great before, man, until all these human rights violations and shit. Like, a couple people got to ruin it for everybody. That was dark. But
yeah, and you think it's the same. I mean, I know someone could say, hypocritical, right? Like, even me, how I said Pinochet helicopter service, man. I mean, I guess it's it's similar, right? I mean, the end result, but the reasoning and the goal is vastly different, I'd have to say.
And I guess the intent behind it, like, there's a difference between when you're like, oh, if I could, yada, and compared to, like, I wish more people would do this. It's so funny,
Right.
Like, yeah, there's a big difference, like I said, our fucking politic fucking analysis is cheeky and humorful. Theirs is fucking violent and mean. Theirs is fucking nuts. There's just everything that I like how they like to say, like, oh, what does normal mean? It's like pretty much the polar opposite of you. There's no such thing as normal. Like, I'd say otherwise in your case.
Like, what's normal? Like, pay attention, dude. Go visit your grandma, man. You know what I mean? Fuck.
Right. Yeah, these people, I mean, I can't tell you what the definition of an absolutely normal person is, but I could tell you that it's not these people. I could tell you that these people are not what you the fucking the measuring stick that you want to be using, you know?
Absolutely not. And I'd have to say, my own mind, absolute normal would, be an everyday person, man. You get up, you go to work, you provide for your family, you have a family. You know what I mean? Like you add to society, you know what I mean? Grow some food, teach your kids some shit, try to be better than the previous generation basically is
Right.
what normal is to me.
Yep. And, like I said, I think just, as I was talking about in the last one, I think just uh and we grew fucking blissful in our ignorance,
Opulence, dude.
Yep. Yep. But some people that are absolutely fucking blissful right now are the 1,500 people who just had their sentences commuted by one Joseph R. Biden, plus the 39 people who have had their cases pardoned. One of the people that was commuted was a child,
Show Moses.
a child loving person of internet photos. And so there's that whole hot water, but at the same time, the whole thing, I mean, of course, criminals is criminals. Of course, there are ones that I would definitely consider in different degrees than other ones, but nonetheless, the whole thing is the purpose. At least I feel is behind it, and I think it's just because Joe Biden wants to fucking not look like he's just gonna walk out of this bitch and fucking pardon him and his family and fuck all the rest of you guys,
Yeah, he had to go a step further and make it worse, dude. To give everyone something to talk about. Like instead of talking about Hunter, talk about these chomos and Chinese spies
Right.
and whatnot. You know what I mean? Judges that sold kids for profit. Like fuck.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, either way, like everybody likes to point out, he's just kind of burning down the fucking building on his way out. But yeah, dude, it's I don't know, like I say, it's really really telling of Joe Biden. Like I say, it's obviously a diversion tactic to keep you away from what he was actually trying to pardon. But the other things that people are worried about is the other people that he may be pardoning on his way out, such as Fauci, a lot of these other people. Now, keep in mind some things can still be brought up on the international courts, right? Such as the spreading of deadly diseases, because that affects the entire world. It doesn't just kill Americans. There's other there's
State courts,
right,
you
state
can only
courts.
pardon for federal. So.
Yeah, you could only pardon for federal. Dude, I was looking up some stuff and running through some scenarios with Chat GPT and looking over the subtexts and shit of the Constitution. Dude, in terms of that federal pardon, it's pretty much conclusive. Everything down, including treason. Like he can pardon somebody for treason. Like
That's crazy.
That's insane. Like that's fucking nuts. He can pardon himself for treason. That's fucking insane. Like that's an insane fucking power for somebody to have, especially like in a election like it was with Donald Trump and Joe Biden, where the only sentiment was everybody hate Donald Trump. Donald Trump's a fascist Nazi, yada yada yada, and Joe Biden's the adults back in the room. People just voted blindly for Joe Biden because they were told that Orange Man is bad.
And familiarity, man. I mean, the dude's been around for fucking 50 years. He was, the previous vice president. I mean, they're familiar with the dude, but not enough apparently to have any kind of fucking memory span because, the dude was forced to drop out of previous, runnings because he's a plagiarist, lying sack of shit. You know what I mean? The guy has made up every aspect of his life. He's a truck driver. He's Jewish. He's Italian. He's Puerto Rican. I mean, he's
raised in the black church.
Exactly, man. I mean, it's so. They didn't even really pry into the fact. It was just we're familiar with him. He seems like an innocent old man, and he's not the Hatlers.
Right.
But you see how that paid off.
As they like to say about Donald Trump, but of course, as we know, every time they say their stuff, it's really just projection. He's probably one of the biggest con men in history.
Yeah, and we know that this, the pardon, like for Hunter, was actually for himself and his family,
Right.
of course. The true sign will be if I'd be amazed if he doesn't pardon his brother before he leaves, and
Mhm.
the other person that was heavily involved, right? And other than that, it's like I said, it was just to cover his own self, so they can't come in and have him investigated federally. But a lot of the shit again could be taken up in state courts. I mean, we've seen that with Trump. And you don't want to cause this epidemic, set a precedent, but the precedent's already been set, right?
Right.
But we don't want it to carry on either. But at the same time, there has to be some type of accountability.
Yeah. You know, and that's the one thing we've been preaching on this show for quite some time now. Is just the fucking the what keeps us in line is the fear of loss of life, either through jail or fucking getting shot or fucking killed by police, something like that. Because of course you walk around with no gun, they're probably going to gun you down depending on your skin color. At least that's what I've been told. But yeah, fucking we what keeps us in line is the fear of loss of life. And federal government workers don't have that. Or at least, the higher up, the people within the political fucking sphere of elite establishmentisms. Yeah, those people have absolutely no fear because there's no consequences for them. As we've seen time and time again, there's no consequences. At least unless your name is Donald Trump. But like we say, at least he could be the sacrificial lamb that opens up the floodgates to prosecutions of some of our elected officials who have acted in a nefarious manners, which, as we know, is not a rare thing. I mean, if what was it? What's the Democrats do that was getting fucking gold bars from Algeria or Libya or something like that? Like,
Yeah, Menendez, right? Is
yeah,
that what was that his name?
yep, yeah, and
Mendez.
that's like nothing. Like like that's a major thing. That's a huge thing, but nothing. And of course, I mean, Joe Biden literally peddling the influence of the seat of vice president through his son in foreign nations, in Ukraine, and getting paid for it, getting paid 10% for the big guy, millions of fucking dollars in foreign monies going directly to him and his family. And no, we're not even going to look into it. It's like I say, it's all been a charade. It's that there's two tiers of justice. They're part of the club. You're not invited.
Yeah. I mean, you see this, right? Obviously, it ties into Obama. Nothing went by that
Mhm.
guy, and his own admin, of course. This dude knew. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons he was out pushing hard for fucking Camel there towards the end,
Right.
just like the Diddy crew and what have you. But, obviously, it would have opened up a can of worms that would have brought shit down, and even with the pardon, if you can't get to the point to where, you can implement, like, actual prison sentences and whatnot, at least make the information fucking public, declassify things, leak documents, whatever the case is, and make people aware, like,
Yep.
make sure it gets out there, use that Modernization Act to your own fucking advantage. and
Right.
and, and again, you never want to advocate for dictatorial shit, but we know Trump was too reserved with power, and you hope that he wields some of it this time, man. you
Yeah,
know
that would be hilarious if you used the fucking Smith Munford Modernization Act to force CNN and MSNBC to report all of the stuff. Just basically all of the communications between them and the Biden administration and the Obama administration. They had to report that directly because they were forced to by the federal government and shit. Well,
right.
that'd be that'd be the most hilarious fucking thing ever, dude. They're just he through the same fucking actions, or through the same legislature that they use to fucking propagandize us, he's gonna use to fucking force them to tell us about the propaganda that they were using on us. Like, that'd
I
be
mean, you
some
see,
great
like
shit.
he put Carrie Lake as the head of America's Voice, which is the
Right.
media arm, you know what I mean, of the government, basically. And
Yep.
I'm sure she's going to want to manhandle some shit, and that's what she does.
Yep. Yep. Shit, I still would have rather preferred her as a senator, but nonetheless, we got Ruben Galago
Me as well. And I even a press secretary. I think she
Right.
would have been great, man.
Yep. Now we're down to Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego representing Arizona in the United States Senate.
Right. Along
Yippee.
with our Democrat Tucson mayor, the Democrat fucking Phoenix mayor, you know what I mean? The
Right.
Democrat governor, the Democrat secretary of state.
Yep.
Fuck, man.
Yep. And the commies are coming over, man. But I don't know, like I said, I just hope that we could, build a culture of fuck commies. I mean, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be real
Right.
great. Really wish we could
Shea
bring back
helicopter services.
the anti-establishment fucking, punk rock go fucking skating in an empty pool like fucking kids. Like, wish those kids could come back. Like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You'd have to turn off the inner zones.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Bring back the good old days.
Yeah. It'd be good times, at least for a while, man. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Fucking read so much though, it'd be hard to function these days without the inner zones. We'd spend a fortune on books.
Yep. Well, I think fucking I don't know. I'm hoping over time the whole social media and just a lot of the stuff that's like the staples of the internet of what we use the internet for right now will just become like boring to people. At least that's my hope. I hope that people will just use the internet as a tool. Like I hope that it's going to become such a part of people's lives, like not like a part of your life, but a part of our lives. Like it's going to be like fucking I don't know, checking the fucking time on the clock or something like that. Like it's like before, way back when you had to fucking get a sundial and fucking track the positions of the sun and shit like that to find out exactly what hour it was. Like now you just fucking that's what time it is. But or maybe it'll be like a fucking I don't know. Either way, like say just like a general utility that's not so much a big fucking part of people's lives, but just an everyday part of people's lives,
Yeah, or just make it to where you're talking about restrictions for kids. You just make it to where they have their own login, and if they don't use their a different login, if they use their own, it's going to stop them from hitting Wi-Fi. It's going to be dial up, and you'll see them turn away real quick, dude.
Right.
You get a little glimpse of what we went through. You see kids now like they got TikTok brain. They're so impatient. Fucking anything longer than 20 seconds, and they're like, "Fuck," So you give them like a dial-up system where for 4 minutes before they can even open that bitch up, and you'll see a lot of them be
Have you
going
seen
outside.
have you seen those watches that they made for kids? It's basically got like its own cell service, but all you could do is make phone calls and text.
No, it's pretty cool.
Right. I mean, it's gives you a way to fucking contact your kids when they're out and about with their friends or whatever, and they ain't gonna be over there fucking scrolling videos or scrolling their feed and shit like that. It's just fucking mom's calling me, gotta go.
Or I heard Tim talking about they have a dumb phone for kids where it's all they can do is make phone calls. They can't even text.
Yeah. Yep. Shit. Yep. That's really all they need.
Right.
But at the same time, man, fucking like I say, just the whole fucking tabooing things, it fucking it just brings fucking people to it, the kids are gonna find a way, but at least at the same time, as long as it's not a mainstream part of their lives, I mean, fuck it, dude. If kids fucking go over to a friend's house and they fucking happen to, my phone's got access to fucking Facebook or something like that, like what the fuck ever, and as long as they're not sitting there doing it in my fucking living room or at the kitchen table and shit like that, like as long as it's like I say, fucking whatever, go fucking run off with your friends and do dumb shit, as long as it's something like that and not just a mainstream part of fucking kids' everyday brain function,
Yeah, I got lucky, man. I think I probably had the last generation of kids that didn't wake up with a tablet in their hands.
Right. Yep. Yeah, my kids fucking still don't have fucking no tablets, none of that shit, They're barely learning how to work the remote control. Yeah, but yeah, man, fucking we'll see how this goes. But let's talk about fucking Luigi, Luigi Mangione from Baltimore, apparently. So yeah, this dude, what What a piece of work on this guy, man. So of course the gun came back as a piece of shit, which is why he had to rack it every time. That's it wasn't no secret fucking assassin fucking method, anything like that. He wasn't trying to make it extra silent. It was just a piece of fucking garbage, So I think they said it was a 3D printed, right?
Yeah, like they had a handmade fucking, suppressor, and yeah, it was jank.
Right. So you guys do realize that you live in America, right? You could get a fucking cheap functioning gun for like under $300. If you really
Not to
want to go,
mention, this dude
you can
comes
get
from a
one for under
family with
200.
real money and power, man.
Right, right. And he's over here bitching about the fucking public medical fucking insurance and shit like that. Socialized Medicare. Yeah, a lot of this stuff really is fishy. Like you said, he does come from an affluent family. Apparently he broke his back while on a fucking surfing trip in Hawaii, bro. Woo! Like, yeah, fucking yeah. And like I said, the left fucking are painting this dude as like modern day Robin Hood and shit like that. Dude, I mean, I don't know. Like I say, the dude, a lot of the stuff with his story is fishy. He doesn't come from, I guess he comes from the modern fucking leftist background, which is basically silver spoon in your mouth, fucking private school and all that shit, Ivy League fucking college. But, fucking in terms of, I forgot where I was going, but either way, fucking the dude's, been like a spoiled little rich kid his whole fucking life, broke his back, couldn't get it up no more, allegedly. I don't know. And then went and fucking killed this United Healthcare CEO, and now we find out that he wasn't even insured by United Healthcare. I mean, that's just even more fishy. You're like, who the fuck was this guy? Why do we know so much about this guy right a fucking way? Now what's your take on old Luigi Mangione?
I think he's a product of radicalization and so-called Ivy League schools, and I don't know how you can call them that at this point when they just churn out moronic fucking communists. But the dude, again, just like we were talking about, blaming insurance companies as if it's not the ailment that you're afflicted with, rather than costs or denials. You know what I mean?
Right.
And again, insurance sucks, but this dude's a millionaire. He wasn't denied any services. This guy read a book and listened to some speeches or what have you, and just fucking did a terrible deed basically, and was completely moronic about it. Not only cameras, most recorded place, all this kind of shit, but we know that he dropped his coat, was caught with the gun at McDonald's. I mean, the whole list of shit.
Manifesto in his backpack and everything, like
Right, which apparently was only like a tweet length.
right.
Which, I mean, you can hardly even call that a manifesto. And then apparently his attorney says that he hasn't even been shown evidence that links this guy to the scene or what have you. But again, this
That was
is a product
that
of
was actually
Frankfurt
another part of
education.
it. They found a water bottle with his fingerprints and saliva on it. And there was like one other thing that they found, with his DNA on it at the scene. That was another part of the news report that I was listening to earlier. But
Right, I heard the same shit, but like I'm just repeating what his attorney is saying. You know what I mean?
right,
And
right.
but on top of all that, dude, like this guy actually comes from a pretty solid background. Apparently, his family's like well respected in business and whatnot, and they're actually kind of pretty conservative. They actually own a conservative radio station, I guess,
Mhm.
in Pennsylvania. So I mean, this isn't someone that's like the product of their environment. It's the product of the environment that they chose to be in, basically, which we see on a nonstop basis. All these Palestinian kids out here running around at this point. That's same crowd, man. Same indoctrination tools, same radicalization.
Yeah. It seems
Plus,
like a
not being
fun
able to
idea.
get vagina has got to be terrible, and especially like you said,
Yeah.
like you got all these leftist Riri chicks. I'd marry a prisoner. I'm writing him in prison. All this kind of shit. But regardless, like the dude is a good looking fella or what have you. So I'm sure he had chicks talking to him. Especially being in a frat and whatnot, and to not be able to do anything, that's got to be ultra frustrating and make you manic, right? Depression.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I'd fucking get by with that. But yeah, like you said, I mean, the dude's not a bad looking guy, and I'm sure he didn't have any problem before. But in my opinion, I'd say that was probably one of the leading motivating factors to it, to the whole thing. Like shit. I don't even think he gives a fuck about his back. I think the whole thing was not being able to be intimate with the ladies.
Right.
But he also had uh that video. I don't know if I can find it or not, where he's fucking screaming. Oh, look at fucking Hassan Piker. Solidarity, bro. But yeah, he had that video or the where they're dragging him in and he's screaming out some fucking leftist nonsense and shit like that. Then also doesn't it say in the in his manifesto, like I don't know if I could articulate a lot of this stuff. Someone's gonna have to do it for me. Like the fuck was that? Like
Something to that effect, yeah.
Right, like you can't even comprehend what you're trying to say, and you went and murdered somebody over something that you can't even fucking comprehend. You can't even articulate into words. Like you, yeah, dude, you're not no fucking hero, dude. You're just a fucking you're a retard, you know.
Yeah. Plus, if you were, I guess if you were going to murk someone out, you'd want it to be at least someone that's actually making case by case decisions, and that's not it. And if you think for a second that this changed anything, I mean, if we know how the corporate world is, it sucks that this dude got murked. He's got a family and shit, but the company's going to roll like nothing happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, this is the biggest fucking health provider on the planet. It's a machine, dude.
Right, and we've already seen a lot of these other health insurers too cave into the pressure. Of course, they're starting to change up their policies and stuff like that. Of course, you don't want to see them, giving into to the fear and everything, to giving into the the actual terrorism. But yeah, it seems like a lot of this stuff is just kind of being allowed to happen. Like I said, the left wing is praising them on as some sort of Robin Hood. They're even fucking basically crowdfunding to pay his attorney fees and everything right now. Like,
Yeah, because apparently, being convicted of a felony or some shit will sever his inheritance, and he was set to inherit like a few $1,000,000. So the dude could be absolutely destitute. I guess maybe he deserves it. I mean, he took someone's fucking father and husband away for no reason whatsoever.
right.
But that's a lot of cash to lose out on. And yeah, these people are sick again. I mean, you're talking the same crowd that followed Taylor Lorenz and shit on Blue Sky and stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't even mean the cheering. I mean, like these chicks, like I said, there's all these videos that these chicks are like, I would marry a prisoner and stuff. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Right. Fucking shit. Pen pals.
yeah, you got to, like we were saying before, we got to bring back shame. I mean, that even goes back to, the Biden information. If there isn't prison sentences, you bring it to the light because, light's the best sanitizer, and that's shame, dude.
Right. Yep. Fucking these people have no shame though. That's for sure.
That's because no one, says or does anything. I mean, it's a small portion of people that, make a fuss about it. People find out about it. It goes fucking viral maybe for a few seconds, and then it's over. Nothing happens. You got to keep that pressure on, like a Biden, for instance. You dropped out of several presidential runs, for lying and plagiarizing. You got to keep that, in forefront. Like, you're a piece of shit. You're a liar, bro. Get out of here.
Right.
You don't even, you know what I mean? You don't even qualify, son. Smell you later.
All right, go back to Delaware.
Yep.
Yep. Fucking. But there's some early conspiracies about like, oh, this isn't the real guy, this is a fall guy. Or fucking the whole thing, because originally they said that they had arrested a person of interest, and so people were going like, oh, this isn't even the real guy, it's just a person of interest. But at the same time, when you really think about it, why would they, who the fuck else would it be,
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely not. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea other than, the shit that I've watched. Right. But, like you said, why? What's the point of hiding it? What would be the cover up? You know what I mean? What would be the motives? I don't even understand.
Right. Yep. So, I mean, of course, it raises the question of, who put you up to it? Yeah. And yeah, I think in this case, it probably was just TikTok.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly, dude. Or his Ivy League fucking education, man. And I
Right.
mean, the dude didn't even have a job, like no work experience or nothing. Like this guy's just been stewing and
Right.
frying his own brain.
Yep. And like I say, the other fishy thing about this is we know way more about this guy than we know about Thomas Crooks.
Yeah, or the Vegas shooter. I mean, you could just keep going,
Right.
and it's pretty wild that all his details are like blah. But like you said, you can't get any details on someone around the same age group that would normally have just as big as a digital footprint.
Right. Yep. All his shit's fucking scrubbed from the internet.
Yeah,
That place that they say, don't do anything on the internet. You wouldn't want to stay there forever because the internet's forever. Unless the
and
government
apparently
wants
his
your
apartment was
website
cleaned the
scrubbed.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently his apartment was cleaned to the point to where there wasn't even silverware.
Right. Of course, there's the whole fucking videos of him, with in the BlackRock fucking video. Of course, it was a commercial, but nonetheless, it's still a fishy connection.
Right. The same thing with Ralph. He was in a BlackRock commercial too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Fucking, like I said, a lot of this stuff, it's there's the whole fucking beyond coincidence, or there's there's no such thing as coincidences and shit. There's that, but I mean, at this point, it's not even like oh, it's a mighty coincidence. Like, no, this shit's fucking blatant, like obvious. They don't try to fucking play it off as something else. They just like, nope, nothing. Don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Right. It's like, are you being, are you making jokes right? Like, what do you mean? Yeah, they don't even try to play it off. They don't even try to give you an excuse. Karine Jean-Pierre, she doesn't have anything for that no more. She got nothing for you.
And so they're trying to extradite this dude to New York, and of course his attorney's fighting it and shit. But ultimately, what do you think's going to happen? I mean, he's going to go if he does get extradited again, he'll be in front of a New York jury,
Mhm.
and otherwise, where is he at? He's in Pennsylvania, right now.
Yep. Yeah. I think Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania or Rhode Island, some shit. Anyway, same situation. They're trying to move him to New York. And I mean, do you think he'll be convicted with the leftist mind frame of this guy's? He's the sexiest heroes is
Right. I don't know. They should probably just pull the fucking what was it like they did with Derek Chauvin? Like, oh, we couldn't get him a fair trial here, so we're going to move it somewhere else. There's no
right.
way that we could get anybody that's going to act. That's going to, decide based off the facts rather than their feelings. So I mean, maybe they could try something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. Of course, it's going to be a new attorney general in office by the time, or in control by the time that takes place. I mean, maybe there'll be some strings that'll be able to be pulled there. But I don't know. In terms of like a jury in New York, I think it's probably going to come back hung jury or fucking nullification, some shit like that. The left is finally going to fucking look into some of this stuff. But yeah, I don't know if I can. I think ultimately he's going to get convicted. I don't think he's going to walk free or anything like that. Ultimately he's going to end up convicted. But I think they might have to try and move it out of New York, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe his attorney will be successful with keeping it in the current state he's at, and he'll get fucking fried.
Right.
Man, I got mixed emotions about the death penalty, and I always say like the chomos and shit are the ones that should be on the list, right?
Mhm.
But stone cold killers like for no absolute reason, just first degree, like
Right.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
why should we pay for you?
Yep. Fucking was it fucking murder for hire people and shit like that too? Like, that's a pretty irredeemable, buddy.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely am not a big fan of supporting these people for the rest of their lives on the taxpayers' dime and shit like that. Even if it is fucking really pennies that they're actually getting down through them after it goes through the entire sewage system first. But yeah, I'm yeah. In this case, I don't know. I don't think they'd fucking I don't think they'd give him the death penalty anyway.
I don't even think New York has it, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, I'm just speaking strictly, rhetorically, like it's, that's what you'd
Right.
like to see instead of your tax dollars paying for that shit. You want to fucking cut the fat, dude. You want things to be cheaper. You want, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that you could cut out, and paying for criminals that are, like you said, irredeemable, are one of them, man.
Right. Yep.
Instead, you got leftists trying to push Joe Bribens into pardoning all the people on death row right now.
Right, and anybody that's on Trump's enemies list.
Yeah. All right, Petzl Adam Schiff. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the Maze Moore clip going around where, it's 2 clips in a row of him talking about, indictment for Trump and, jail for Trump. And then now he's like, I don't think that, incoming president should be talking about his political opponents being to jails as in a democracies. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, fuck. Like you just said, the inner zones are forever, bro.
Right.
Archives.
Fucking hypocrites.
Right.
Yep.
Unless you're an elitist, right? Or fucking they're trying to cover some shit up like the Brooks. And then you've seen the Clinton Wikipedia was just purged of all the 35 mentions of Epstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, faking. Yeah, they control information. They can't control the public fucking sentiment, bro. Only Elon Musk could do that.
Archive those videos, man.
Right.
That's what you got to do. All that footage, dude. Fuck. Hopefully your phone can still take a memory stick.
Yeah, it's weird they got rid of that shit too, man. Like you can't store your photos on a memory card no more. Like why not?
Right, they want to
Just
take all your
because,
fucking
man.
ability needs away. That was earlier, man, when my son was sending me baby pictures. I tried to screenshot some on Insta, and it's like,
All right.
this app doesn't support screenshots. Well, what the fuck, man?
Man, what fucking good are you then? Fuck off, like, Zuckerberg. But yeah. So speaking of shit that the government's not truthful and that we never actually get the full story on, what's your thoughts on the fucking drones over Jersey?
Fuck, man. I believe it's a Chinese balloon, 2.0 or whatever. It's, pretty obvious that they have, whether they know or not is up for debate, right? But the shit that they say, it can't be right at the same time. It conflicts. Or like, we don't know what it is, but we know it's not a threat. Like, how can you know that? And
Right.
then, the people running around screaming aliens and shit like that's moronic. Even the, some of the foreign claims, it's hard to swallow for the simple fact that it has like, approved lighting systems and whatnot. You know what I mean? And then if it's a spy situation like the Chinese balloon, at least they try to keep it up at an altitude where it wasn't visible for the most part. But this shit, I mean, there's like, yeah, minimum hundreds of videos, going around the inner zones of people recording this shit on their phones. So it's not even a secret. It's not, anything that's trying to be hidden. But what the fuck is our government doing, dude? Right?
Well, you already know what they're doing. They're instantly trying to blame fucking red herring. I mean,
Right.
Iran.
Right. Of course,
Yep.
that's what I'm saying about the foreign shit. And then you got to ask yourself, do they even have that kind of, capability? And I know that they've reversed engineered, one of our drones,
Mhm.
but, fuck, dude,
Well,
I mean,
from what I heard earlier, I guess Iran's actually, one of the leading manufacturers for drones now.
but these are like the size of SUVs and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is like a fucking Predator drone or something, dude, but an Escalade frame.
Right. Yeah, it's drones over New Jersey is trending right now. So let's go ahead and scroll through some of this stuff. Classic movie.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, Blue Beam's fucking trending too. I don't think it's aliens, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
come-
think so.
Right, they're coming with FAA fucking approved lighting systems.
Let's see. Found this on Reddit. Radar guy here, I know, who is operating the drones. 25-year radar operator for a major agency here. Just thought I'd let you know what has been going on these past few weeks. The drones are part of a military drill being conducted by Space Force. Everything is on a need-to-know basis, which is why there's so much confusion. Then why the fuck would they be doing something like that over a majorly fucking populated city?
Right.
If it's on
It's
a
like the most
need-to-know fucking
densely
thing.
populated city.
Right. There's no way that they could approve this fucking mission to go fucking, military drill and not know that not letting the public know is going to cause a panic. Like they would not fucking do anything like that unless the intent was to cause a panic. But either way, let's go ahead and keep reading. What gets me concerned and why I had to make this post is that something big is about to go down. I happen to know that there are additional full lockout drills that are scheduled to take place between now and Christmas Eve. These operations involve the full turnover of all radio, radar, and aircraft communications to the military for several hours at a time. In conjunction with that, there are also scheduled satellite launches off the books, which have been occurring since October. They are setting up some kind of big show for the public very soon. CNN was even at our facility shooting pre-roll footage for a future story. I don't know exactly what's going on, but all I know is this: get ready. Peace and safety to all of you and your families. Interesting. Again, like I said, I don't know who this guy is. Of course, it's a fucking Reddit post, so don't want to give too much credit to it. And at the same time, like we said, if it's a military drill from our military, again, unless the intent is to cause a panic, they have to know that doing a fucking sort of military drill over a majorly populated city without letting the public know beforehand is going to cause a panic.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's definitely intentional, regardless if it's fucking foreign or domestic. You know what I mean? It's intentional at this point. It's too much visual. And right before we went on, I don't know if you'll be able to find it, but there was one, supposedly that had been brought down, like it crashed on a fucking freeway or some shit. But they're huge. Apparently, they're massive. Like I said, dude, they're fucking Escalades flying around or whatever.
Let's see if I can find. Let's check out some of the videos, I guess, while we're looking for this. This video has been digitally altered below the original video. Let's see. Anyone in Colorado Springs? Yeah, because I did see some people mentioning earlier that this was oddly similar to something that took place in Colorado back in 2020, which was essentially almost the exact same thing. A bunch of drones flying over, and they never got any information about that either. So don't expect to hear anything about this. Okay, is this the one you're talking about?
Quite possibly. I was just looking at still shots.
Oh, never mind. Pretty sure this was a joke one. Yeah. It's definitely Iranians.
But what makes you question it, though, is obviously the lack of fucking information. But the Chinese balloon, like I said again,
right?
If they'll let one country survey the fucking entire continent, what makes you think they won't do it again, especially to a regime that they're trying to placate with billions of dollars.
Right, and that's why we highly encourage everybody: stay close to your family, learn who your communities are, get in touch with your neighbors, get guns, get ammo, practice, and just be ready. See, so readers added context they thought people might want to know that this is in fact a plane crash. You gotta love the fucking the community notes, man. It's so much better than the fucking fact check.
Right.
No way. Yo.
Yeah, that's the one though.
You got good footage? Good footage?
Yeah.
Oh,
still shots were just like that.
This shit
yeah.
fucking crashed.
Yo! Yeah. So apparently, like we said, from the community notes, this was a plane crash. See if we could find some of the videos. I actually haven't really seen much of the videos. spotted over Hunterdon County, New Jersey, Friday night.
So I mean, they got
So I definitely don't.
the correct lights on
I
them.
don't think aliens are gonna have fucking clearance lights and all that shit. You know. But yeah, in my opinion, definitely not aliens. And so here's another one. And I don't know for sure, but I can definitely say it's not aliens.
I mean, I understand it fuzzes out, dude, when you try to zoom in, especially if it's dim like that. But every video you ever see of flying shit, regardless of the claim of what it is fucking from 1991 and shit.
Right? Everybody rushes to go grab their flip phones and shit as soon as they see something in the sky.
And she's great. She's got the best care in town. Wait, you get your RN? Nope.
What is that?
Care now. Oh, wait, I've heard of them. They pay you the highest rates in Philly, right?
Like, my phone's got 7 cameras.
Right. See, I've seen those drones and thought I was crazy. Took this video on November 3rd, coming home from work before midnight. This happened in PA. So November 3rd, that was a while ago. These motherfucking drones been flying over here for months. Just nobody's actually looked up, and everybody's just been nodding off the whole time, like
looking at phones and shit.
Right.
It's like look up, man. Like that movie, dude.
No, don't look up, man. Let's see.
Yeah, either way, dude.
New Jersey. Yeah.
Either way, it's not fucking aliens. It's more than likely our own government fucking with us. You know what I mean? And them saying we don't know. I mean, I hope they understand the image that portrays. Coupled with fucking white rage generals and face shield fucking department heads. It's looking rough, man.
Yep. Yeah, honestly, in my opinion, I think it was our own government, and I think that they did it to cause a panic. And I think the other reason, the more important underlying reason, is they did it because they wanted to blame Iran. Because of course, there's nothing we love. Our fucking government loves more than going and bombing some little fucking brown kids. So I mean, the more brown kids, the better. So yeah, I think they wanted to try and blame Iran because, of course, one thing that we see this government doing is trying to give Donald Trump a geopolitical shit show before he gets into office. So, I mean, starting shit with the Iranians, starting shit with the Russians and the Chinese and the fucking, I don't know, probably fucking Syria. I'm pretty sure we're going to have some shit with Syria before Donald Trump gets in. But yeah, they're trying to put together a political shit show. So I think this is probably part of it. They probably sent out some drones saying, "Oh, it's coming off of a fucking mothership from Iran in the middle, right off the coast." Like if like wasn't Russia right off of our coast like a fucking couple months ago with nuclear weapons?
I mean, they've been a few times in the past couple of years with subs and shit.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. So I think that's the whole thing is they're just trying to stoke tensions, with the Middle East, because of course that's where they want to go, man. That's where the money's at.
They want to install central banks and control the petro, of course, man.
Right.
And they also want to be able to blame when if shit goes south. They can say, "See, it's because Donald Trump's.
Yeah,
you would have left the adults in charge, everything would still be okay."
Right.
Like, you fucking did this, man. Yeah, I mean, and you think about it, they're trying to fuck them in every way possible, dude. I mean, they're rushing, approvals for people to come through the border. They're making it to where they don't even have to physically show up now. They're selling off the border wall like $5 for a fucking ton of steel. Like literally on the government auction site, it starts at $5. it's pretty crazy shit. But you have some Texas representatives coming out and saying that they'll purchase as much as they can of it and donate it to fucking Trump, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, if I might buy a little bit of that, build me a fence in the backyard. I tell you what.
Right, 30-foot ballards, dude. But
Right.
they
Build
there's
me a
video
throne.
again on the interzones there, all over X, showing truckloads of the fucking steel being taken away from the area where it's supposed to be being built.
Yeah.
Pretty insane shit, man.
Well, I mean, we got to build more rockets for Ukraine, man. Ukraine needs these rockets, man. We could build them out of this border wall material that we don't need because, love is love. Let everybody in. Fucking no human is legal. Peace.
Right, ballards, man. You build missiles like the fucking goddamn Palestinians, dude, did with the water aqueducts.
Right. Yeah. Priorities, you guys.
Right, you're keeping the water from our people. What'd you do with that water system we installed for you guys? That's what we blew your ass up with, man. Fuck.
If you don't give us water, you're practically killing us now. Like, we gave you water, man. Yeah, these people are fucking retarded over there. Fucking big old shit show in the Middle East. Fucking so the Assad regime fell.
And you don't know how to feel about that, man. I mean, right?
Right.
I mean, apparently the dude's a dictator, shit like that. Obviously, I have no fucking familiarity with the situation except for, what you hear here. But, ultimately, he was pretty flexible as far as religious freedoms go. Like,
Right.
One of the oldest, largest Christian populations in the Middle East. And, with members of Al Qaeda's fucking taken over, obviously, I'm sure that's not going to stand. And,
Yeah.
It seems that America loves to get involved in situations where, Christians end up dying.
Yep. Yeah, except South Africa. That's a different story, though.
Right.
Right.
But I mean, it's like a situation where you got to make sure everyone's safe, right? You got to protect the kids, you got to protect the Ukrainians, democracies, and they're like, oh, there's tons of Christians dying. It's cool, man.
Right. Yeah, I still suspect that we'll be marching in there before you know it. Yeah. Of course, the guy that took over, he's fucking not using any on our fucking terrorist watch list.
There was a $10 million reward for him, but Biden just announced he's going to send money over there. He's going to help rebuild Syria, dude. You know what I mean? And you see, the mainstream media sites, especially like what was it? What's that one BBC, the Mail, and they're like putting out articles like how this guy was reformed, how he was reformed from Al Qaeda extremist to statesman. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't transform, he didn't change. You're trying to change the fucking, the outlook, like, the conception is all it is. Like, complete propaganda. It's these people that we spent the last 20 years and, billions and billions of dollars fighting. And now we're trying to help them take over an entire country.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you don't, like chop heads off and then all of a sudden, like, I'm a changed man now. That was old me, like, that's not how it works,
Still to this day, Joe Biden will mention like Mandela. I mean, that guy was, feared in Africa for his torture methods, and his main one was stacking tires on you, setting them on fire, bro. I mean, you talk about a horrible, excruciating death, dude. Like, I mean, just barbary, like most people, can't even think of.
Right. Yep. But maybe we'll send them some money and things will work out fine. Maybe they'll rebuild. Maybe they've seen the light.
It always makes things better,
Muhammad.
dude.
Right.
Like you've seen Hochul in New York right now, just announcing to fight inflation, she's going to cut everyone $300 and $500 checks.
Hell yeah, man! That's fucking really doing it.
Right. Everything they do exacerbates the problem. Always, the state is the problem.
Right. Like, what was it? Was the gas relief or something like that fucking Newsom was doing? He gave him like fucking like $700 for gas, and then the fucking raised the taxes on it and shit. Like, these people are fucking wacky, man. Like, they're like I said, it's not even like they don't even do it sly no more. They don't even try to hide it, you know. They just fucking come out with these wacky fucking schemes that are so obvious. It's just like
California is the base example, man. Like you were just saying. I mean, they made it to the, where you have to have an electric vehicle by 2030. And then shortly after passing that bill into law, they send out a notice like, you know, everybody's got to stop charging their shit. You're overloading the grid. You know what I mean? Like it's not even halfway to electric yet, and already they're telling you, "Hey, man, it's overloading the grid. You got to stop."
and fucking know what I just realized too, man. Fucking remember like a year or two ago, fucking California voted to make it a 32-hour work week.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so after 32 hours, fucking you start making overtime at that point, and of course, we all know overtime is taxed at a higher rate than your regular hours. But Donald Trump has announced fucking no tax on overtime. So we'll see how that ends up working out for them because yeah, it really kind of puts a hole in the California commie scheme now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they mandated like $20 an hour for fast food workers, so it's some hefty tax dollars they're going to be missing out on there.
Right. Yeah, you guys are fucked, man. I mean, you guys have been fucked from the start, but I mean, yeah,
That's what I mean. Anything has to do with the state, they say we're going to try to do this or change that, fight this. The opposite's going to happen, man.
Yep.
Fight
Yep.
homelessness. Now there's more than ever. I'm going to fight fucking drugs. It's one of the number one killers in the country at this point. Like
everything the government touches turns to shit.
Right.
Yep. That's rule of thumb, man. That's nice. That's why we say, this whole thing of like, oh, like they're gonna, limit the mind rot algorithms that go to children and stuff like that. Like, yeah, and it sounded great to everybody, but until you realize that they don't give a fuck about anybody, they have ulterior motives, and at the same time, they're fucking absolutely incompetent. Even if that was their actual motive, they're gonna fail at it because they fucking suck at everything.
Not to mention, it's like Bilbo Baggins with the Ring of Power. I mean, they can't leave anything alone. Even if that was the intention and it worked out, they wouldn't be able to just leave it at that. Then they'd have to change it into their apparatus.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to put their algorithm that's going to fucking melt your brain.
Yep. Like I said, it doesn't, as the questions and answer thing said, it doesn't create a digital ID for anybody. It doesn't, force companies to have to, what is it? Fucking, you click the I'm over 18 thing or something like that. Right. It doesn't force any of that shit. It doesn't force the companies to take down any of their stuff. It basically just forces them to change their algorithms. So of course, all that does is it gives the government control over these companies' algorithms. That's it. The only thing it does. Right. And of course, like I said, it's the Trojan horse of we're doing it for the kids we're trying to prevent them from mind rots. And in the meantime, we get to fucking artificially, enforce our code. So that way we make sure that there's no mis and disinformation going out there, Like I say, it sounds good until you realize who the fuck's going to be doing this shit. And it's our federal government. So.
And especially when you have the head of the UN and the head of the WHO coming out around the same time, reiterating that their biggest issue and biggest goal is to tackle mis and disinformations is
right. Yep. Fucking, they don't give a fuck about your kids. They give a fuck about what you're teaching your kids.
Yeah.
And whether or not it's
about information and who controls it.
Who controls the narrative. Yeah,
so they can also change things at will, just like Wikipedia, dude. Like I said, you know what I mean? It'll be memory hold, like for real, fucking Orwellian shit. The overplayed fucking phrase of all time, probably, but that's a true standard right there. Like they're going to be memory holding shit and changing fucking historical facts and so on and so forth. I mean, you already see dictionaries changing definitions. Like it can only get worse, man.
Right. Yep, fucking abomination.
It's double plus good.
Right. Yeah, fucking, but yeah, Syria, man, fucking out of the frying pan into the fire, you guys. Good job. Of course,
yeah. terrible
they're
shit,
all
but it also makes you question, is Russia struggling with Ukraine more than you thought, man? Because, obviously this took place because they weren't able to, supply defenses.
yeah, 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 that's true. So I mean, of course, I don't know. In terms of fucking Russia and Ukraine, even if they are struggling with Ukraine, I don't give a fuck. Fuck Ukraine.
Right. I don't care about that shit either, but it raises the question. But then on top of that, Russia doesn't give a fuck either way,
Right.
apparently, because, I guess that they're currently in negotiations with the new regime for 2 naval bases.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because,
Yeah.
they abandoned one as the government fell. They took all their shit and left, and now they're in negotiations for that one back and another.
Yeah. 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 Fucking Putin's gonna be doing good then, I guess, with the new regime. But of course, it's I don't know. Do you think a lot of it's kind of like an enemy of my enemy type thing?
Possibly, or, I mean, it could be just their way to keep a foot in the Middle East because, that's like the deepest foot they've had is Syria in decades,
Yeah.
you know, ever since Al Qaeda was formed, and, because originally it was to fight Russia.
Yeah, shit's crazy how time changes things, makes some strange bedfellows,
Right.
Yeah, fucking yeah. I guess America has a part in a lot of it too.
But, Putin's peas over there says that he's, fighting the Nazisms in fucking Ukraine.
Right.
And, you remember Islam aligned with fucking Hitler's, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And, they actually printed, Mein Kampf in Arabic, which is, pretty rare that they put, English books or, German books in fucking Arabic. That's a sacred language. They don't even want you to know about it.
Right. Hence the reason they're all fucking retarded. Hence the reason they all got fucking IQs of like 70.
A theory I heard recently, from one of Voltis, he's saying that obviously at one point they were pretty advanced, Arabics and shit as far as math
Mhm.
is concerned, and what is it, physics and whatnot. I mean, they were pretty advanced, and it's just that they stayed there, like the rest
Yep.
of the world moved on, and they just stayed at that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to them, it's 2,000 years ago, man.
Right. They're still at the height, man.
Right.
All right. They fucking got Arabians and horses, man. They're fucking swords, man. We fucking dominating the land.
I know they got Toyota trucks and AKs, bro.
Right. Yep.
Like I'm wearing the same clothes from 2,000 years ago, but I got firearms.
Right. Wearing FUBU and shit. Yeah. Man, fucking the Middle East, man, it's a powder keg. It's a powder keg.
Yeah, but apparently you've seen some of those guys flying some of our jets that were left in Afghanistan, flown them into fucking Syria. Yeah. And that was one of the things about when the shit got left. That was one of the excuses. Like these guys couldn't work it anyway. You know what I mean? It'd be like an ape trying to use power tools. Like obviously there's cats over there that can fly those fucking planes, man.
Right. No, they'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. Yeah, if you leave it for them, they're gonna figure it out.
Overvaluing your abilities.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of becoming the fucking the hallmark of our political establishment elites right now. Just everybody's just too dumb. Nobody's gonna actually be able to see what's going on. Nobody's gonna be able to actually see what we're doing.
Yeah, that goes back to the Van Jones shit, like he's
Right.
saying they're still thinking everyone's watching Fox and CNN, because you got like, Hochul, like, they don't even know what computer means is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
that's how they view you. They like you're in the Stone Age. You couldn't work the inner zones. You're not
Yeah.
watching Joe Rogan's.
Yep. They bought into their own bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Fucking crazy shit, man. So let's talk about motherfucking Daniel Penny real quick. So, of course, as you guys know, Daniel Penny was found not guilty. Of course, it still could be brought up in civil court, right? He could still be found civilly liable for
Yeah, he could be
for wrongful
financially
death.
destroyed. Yeah.
Right. And of course, the Neely family is going to go ahead and push that. And even if they weren't, the fucking the leftists would make them do it anyways. Same way as they'd treat them like the Sandy Hook families. So I mean, either way, it's what was going to take place anyway. So of course he's going around. Didn't he do like an interview or something like that just recently?
Yeah. He I think he did someone's podcast actually.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, like I said, he's not out of the woods yet. He's out of the he's not going to go to prison or anything like that. But nonetheless, he could still be destroyed financially. Not to mention, most of his life has already been destroyed. Reputationally, and just with all the time that he's had to endure going through this sham, fucking perversion of justice.
He seemed like a pretty humble dude, and
Mhm.
to me, hero, and holding someone, restraining them again with another black guy, definitely wasn't the cause of death. And this dude should be celebrated. It should be like when he came out, as far as like you're good, son. And the court of public opinion goes a long way. And unfortunately, in that area at least, they're still pretty leftist. And like you said, you had the creeps coming out of the woodwork. His family, his dad apparently, abandoned this dude. This guy had mental problems, 43, arrests, charges, what have you, drug issues, so on and so on. And this dude wasn't there for him. But now that this occurred, it's my son. I miss my
Right.
son. And then, like we were saying earlier, seemed like goading people to let's burn this bitch. Like, come on, people, let's do something about this. Not outright. And then, the BLM fucking sisters, right? They were out there, screaming their head off and, fat jiggling around and shit, shit bags again, heading on fucking violence, man.
Right. Well, at least we do see some people celebrating and spreading the joy. Me and my friend, me and the boys celebrating Daniel Penny's not guilty verdict. Hugs all around, big smiles. Right. Of course, this comment down here, I highly doubt this, but Perry said right after being found not guilty that it felt so good to choke out an obnoxious black. I was found innocent, so now I can admit I killed him on purpose. This Perry guy is a bad man, you guys. I highly, highly doubt that. Of course, let's go ahead and check in on AOC. See how she's doing.
He would do it again if necessary, if there was a present threat. What do you make of the comments?
Well, doesn't that, I just feel like that tells us everything. If we do not want violence on our subways, and the point of our justice system is a level of accountability to prevent a person who does not have remorse about taking another person's life. I mean, even people who have engaged in manslaughter or have taken a life accidentally express remorse. And so the fact that a person may express no remorse indicates that there's a risk that it may happen again. And if we do not want to unleash that level of violence, then we should exert a level of accountability to prevent that from happening again.
Essentially said that he wouldn't.
To exert it. That was her word of the day. And fucking, God forbid that someone puts themselves in danger, to protect others. That's one fucking horrible act. So you definitely don't want that.
He doesn't even have remorse for that either.
Right. And they should acting like leftists do, just skimming over the fact that the one that was trying to commit acts of violence was the one that ultimately paid the price for it.
Right. The person that was actually, had no, value for other humans' lives. The person that was not afraid to just go out and kill people was the person that was all drugged out and hopped up on the train and said that I'm going to kill people right now. That's probably the person that you should be worrying about, not the person that stopped that guy. But of course, the left, they don't get that, right? Of course, she feels that Daniel Penny should feel sorry that he saved a bunch of people from getting attacked by a psychopath on the train. He should definitely feel sorry for what he did. Definitely don't do that. He probably should have waited for the police, in AOC's opinion.
Exactly. Let yourself fucking, be beat, killed, or what have you because sensibilities and or skin tone because we all know if this was the opposite, which actually took place, right? A black dude stabbed a cat on the bus, killed him for the same type of situation because he was trying to go after his chick, and that guy was found not guilty, but he came out himself and said that Penny is guilty. So it's strictly the viewpoint of the oppressor and oppressed as usual.
Right. Yeah. Fucking here's this old race baiter.
Right.
Of
Hawk.
course, right. Calling for more black vigilantes. We need black vigilantes. I mean, dude, fucking going out and committing gang violence is not vigilantism. Like, vigilantism is generally when you're stopping the other people that are going out murdering people is for dumb fucking reasons. And that's vigilantism, especially because of the fact that the police won't do it. Right. Which of course was another part that tied into the death of Jordan Neely, because of the fact that he was still breathing. He was still alive when Daniel Penny let him go. The whole thing was that the police officers didn't want to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation because, of course, they'd get AIDS.
We need some black vigilantes. Right. People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us? Right. I'm tired. We need some black vigilantes.
Black vigilantes. Yep, but of course, everything's oppression. Everything has to do with the race, right?
That's exactly what it is. A grift, division tools, and these cats haven't cashed in a while. The BLM
Right. He's
thing's been
trying to get
pushed back.
his large mansion as well too.
Right.
He's the new Al Sharpton. Fucking Rollo Lovejoy or something like that. Rollo Lovejoy.
Al Sharpton before Ozempic.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it is. It's always been the grift, man. It's just fucking oppression. Like, they don't oppress us. Like, no, he wasn't oppressing him. Like, oh, he was oppressing his ability to go fucking attack a bunch of people on a subway. Like, no, that's not oppressing somebody. Like
Yeah, there wasn't enough pressure put on that dude, right? What was it? It was either I think he said 43 fucking prior arrests, including punching a 67-year-old woman. I mean, this dude was a straight piece. You know what I mean?
Right. He should have been oppressed a little bit more. Maybe he wouldn't have been such an asshole, man.
Right. And then he was homeless. He had issues. Again, he was extended, services through, the courts, like rehab, a place to stay. And, the dude broke out and smashed after 2 weeks. Like,
yeah. Yep. And that's the way that it always goes with them, man. That's the whole thing is like, oh, like they don't offer services and shit. Like, dude, you're literally sleeping outside of a fucking homeless shelter. Yeah, but they won't let me in there and shit like that. They want me to fucking piss in the cup and all that. Really, that's what you're worried about. That's what's holding you back, huh?
oppression. Right. And the dude was fuck. He's smoking that K2 or whatever the fuck, that synthetic weed that gives you strokes and delusions and whatnot.
Yeah, I remember that shit back in the day, man. That shit. That shit's old school drug now.
Man, I've only tried it one time. This chick brought it over, man. Like, check this out. And then I just thought it was some herbs, bro. Right. Hit that shit like, dude, I feel like I'm about to die. Right. Thought I had a stroke some.
Right. Freaking, yeah, those were good times, man. Yeah, I remember. I just
That's
remember
not
being
that good of a time, man.
I was in like my late teens, early 20s at the time when it was sold at smoke shops and shit like that. Yep, I remember very, very clearly thinking like, fuck, dude, I want to be able to tell my kids. Like, I was fucking around when this shit was sold at the fucking grocery store and shit. Like, but yeah, those are some crazy times. So like the only other place that I seen it after it became illegal was in prison. It's actually really popular in prison because it takes tiny little bit to get you really fucked up, you know?
Feel like you're gonna stroke out.
Yeah. Yep. Fucking 2 puffs, man. You're just sitting on your bed, fucking like, the room's fucking spinning, bro.
You're not high, you're dying, son.
That's right. It's fucking oxygen deprivation because you're forgetting to breathe.
Nasty shit.
Elton John says weed is a gateway drug.
Yep, there's a good possibility though. This guy's going to get taken to the cleaners, man. You know what I mean? Like you said, the family's going to push that shit. The dad's out there immediately with these cats, fucking putting on the tears. You know, and again, apparently he's absentee father, right? I mean, prime, stereotype or what have you. But they're going to come out of the woodwork, man. They're going to try to get this dude, and we've seen a lot of people be fucked by courts financially.
Yeah,
obvious example, old Alex. All he did was talk some shit, and dude owes the GDP of fucking France. But this guy actually took a life. So, I mean, they in their eyes anyway. Like you said, the police actually let this dude die. If anyone should be held accountable, there you go. I mean, you're a first responder. That's you think that would be part of your fucking repertoire, dude.
You also have to take into account the skin color of the police officers. I mean, you also you have to remember the most important factor here is the color of a person's skin. At least in New York, at least that's the way that their courts work out there, from what I'm told. So it really depends on what the police officers look like as to whether or not we can go after them.
Hence the reason that the black dude that helped Penny hold Neely down is not anywhere to be seen. You know what I mean?
Right. You didn't even get a fucking ticket. Probably didn't even have to fucking give a witness statement, I bet. Like,
and then like AOC and these cats, dude, pressing this fucking talking points. Of course they skim over the fact that 41 people from that fucking subway came and spoke on his behalf.
Right.
But that's a pretty large number to be fucking. He's killed them, and you got 41 people saying no, he didn't.
Right. Fuck. Right. Yep. Fucking. But either way, justice was served here. Fucking Daniel Penny found not guilty. And of course, we'll see how things go in the civil courts. But nonetheless, is a good day for vigilantism. I'm just fucking with you guys. It's a good day for self-defense, for defense of others, for people just being generally good people, for the good guy winning, going home, and the bad guy not.
Men being men.
Right, the way that America was intended to be.
Right.
Right. It's funny, everything in court comes down, at least in like Supreme Court and shit, ends up coming down to like what the founding fathers intended. I don't think the founding fathers intended any of this. Like, I think they fucking meant for any of this shit to happen, man. I don't think they ever fucking could have in their wildest dream imagined that men are going to be chopping off their fucking wieners, and now we have to make legal decisions on whether or not you could do that before the age of 18. I don't think that was a thought in their fucking head.
Yeah. They were it was definitely meant to be a high trust society with fucking morals and core beliefs, and just the watering down of the population and the pull away from those principles alone is just fucking not anything remotely like what this country was meant to be, man.
Right. Yeah. That's why we come here to lament the fall of Western civilizations as we know it. But anything else you want to get in before we get out of here, man?
Dude, fucking grandpa, son.
Right.
Crazy shit. Like I said, reality. Didn't plan this far. You know what I mean? I never even considered this, this happening. So, it's going to be a huge adjustment, dude.
Yeah. That's
crazy shit, man.
Starting a whole new journey, man. One you didn't even know that you'd be on, dude. Like,
holy shit, makes my
that's
knees
what makes
hurt.
it even better. It's a trip you didn't even plan for, bro.
Right.
Everything's gonna be fucking magical, fucking surprises. And the best part is, of course, as grandpa, fucking, I'm still, fucking new dad and shit, so I got to deal with all the screaming and temper tantrums, all the fucking diapers, all that shit. You know, you just get to deal with the good times. You know, every time you come over, they're fucking stoked to see you. Yeah.
Yep. What'd you bring me, man? Fuck yeah, dude.
Right?
Can't wait.
Hell yeah, man. Fucking congratulations. Yeah, we appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video out with your friends. Talk to us in the comment section. Let us know what you think. If you're a Russian bot or if you're a Ukrainian fucking weirdo just trying to tell us Hail Azov or whatever, it's fine. You could go ahead and comment. It helps the algorithm, I guess, but might not respond to you. But either way, appreciate you guys stopping by. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, fuck off.